Welcome to For His Namesake. The story you are about to hear is a true one. Trauma in Rio. It was sometime in the 1970s in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. My parents, little brother, and I lived within the heart of this hustling and bustling city in a two-story apartment. The apartment was situated on a tall hill, which to me as a child of 6 years of age looked like a mountain. In the living room was a large ceiling-to-floor window where I spent much of my time gazing out of at night, especially. As our parents went out a lot in the evening, my brother and I were left with our housekeeper to watch over us. Many nights while looking out the window, I would, in the dim lighting, see large black rats the size of cats running rampant within the construction sites below our apartment. This was terrifying to me. When I finally laid down my head to sleep at night, all I could hear was the ongoing sounds of traffic, the constant honking of horns, loud engines revving up as if racing, and sirens of either the police or the ambulance. There was a lot of crime and awful accidents that occurred there frequently. During the day, any time that my family and I got into a taxi cab, we braced ourselves for the worst. We hung on to whatever part of the car we could get our hands on. As the driver raced through the streets of Rio, swerving around corners, and then abruptly stopping with tires squealing, only to take off again erratically to join the ranks of the rest of the traffic. Daily automobile wrecks in Rio were a normal part of life, and it was solely by the grace of God that in the nearly 3 years that my family and I lived there, not once were we involved in a car accident. My weekdays were spent at a very strict Catholic school run by nuns. Uniforms were required, along with a set of other rules that had to be followed. To me, it seemed like a tyrant-run facility. The only bit of sunshine in my days there was a boy in my classroom that had a delicious-smelling home-cooked meal brought to him each day for lunch. For a few moments, I sat in my chair in total bliss, watching him eat that scrumptious-looking meal. Then, all too soon, the rest of us students were ordered to get into a straight line and make our way down to the hallway, down to the cafeteria. One particular day, I still remember it as if it was yesterday, I had gotten lazy in my walk and I had forgotten to pick up my feet while walking. Suddenly, I felt a hard yank of my hair, which caused my head to fling back. Ouch! That hurt like crazy. "We don't shuffle here. You must go back to the end of the line," yelled the nun that was standing there. I was distraught. How could someone be so cruel? On the weekends, my family spent hours at one of the two famous beaches in Rio, either at Copacabana or Ipanema. Along with the masses of people that came to those beaches, surfers would also frequent there and take on the challenge of riding the huge waves. Sadly, many times surfers would be pulled under the powerful swells, causing these men to swallow a lot of water, and or be thrown ashore by the waves, having been partially drowned. Many bystanders formed large circles around these surfers. Some would proceed to do CPR, and others intently watched the surfers vomit on the beach, in hopes that they would get out all the water they had unexpectedly swallowed. This was a regular spectator event for the crowds of people, including for my family and I. For me, it was both fascinating and yet horrifying to watch at the same time. Most of my days in Rio were traumatizing in one way or another. And when we finally embarked on that airplane to depart nearly 3 years later, I quietly whispered to myself, I hope I never have to come back here again. As I gazed out my window at the clouds, I could sense God right there with me, reassuring me in the midst of my own despair in Rio de Janeiro. God had been there all along, watching over me. Thank you for listening to this story. If you would like to submit one for yourself, please send it via email to us at forhisnamesake106@gmail.com. And the criteria for submissions will be in the description box below. We hope that you have enjoyed this new series that we're going to begin here on this channel. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.